This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
It's a Band-Aid at the end of the day. It's something, in my belief, that the public is able to see we're doing something for our veterans. But what are we really going to do with that data? Are you really going to put a process in place to help the VA work through these claims?
There's a new White House hotline for veterans to report concerns about the VA. Concern number one might be how long it takes to get through. What's being done to get service members the help they need? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohen, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. We'll have more on the new White House Veterans Hotline in a moment, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. He was one of baseball's biggest stars and best pitchers who loved the Tampa Bay area so much he retired here just a few years ago. We begin tonight with a plane crash in the Gulf of Mexico taking the life of former Phillies and Blue Jays star Roy Halladay. Halladay died after his plane crashed into the Gulf of Mexico about 10 miles west of St. Petersburg around 1 o'clock this afternoon. He was an 8-time All-Star and 2-time Cy Young Award winner during his big league career.
Many know Roy as a Cy Young winner, future Hall of Famer, one of the best pitchers to ever pitch the game of baseball. We know Roy as a person, as a caring husband who loved his wife Brandy. He loved his 2 boys tremendously.
Halladay pitched a perfect game and a postseason no-hitter. He was 40 years old. The NTSB is investigating. It's election day for some parts of the country, including here on the Suncoast. Venice residents are heading to the polls with one major issue in mind: development. Some fear developers have free reign of where they want to build within the city. The candidates are split.
To actually be put in the chair where you're making a decision, and there's a possibility that if you say no to something, you could end up in a lawsuit for taking somebody's property rights away from them.
The polls closed just a few minutes ago. We may know the results soon, so stay with us. Here again on the Sarasota, police are saying 7 skimming devices were located at gas pumps at the Quick Station at the intersections of Fruitville and Beneva Roads. It is unknown how long the skimmers were there, but the state says the pumps were checked last April. To prevent falling victim in the future, police say to choose a pump close to the store entrance, use a credit card over a debit card, and pay with cash when possible. Got him. A local man accused of sexually assaulting a teenager is in custody tonight. The sheriff's office says Thomas Bassone turned himself in. He is charged with lewd and lascivious behavior on a 13-year-old girl. Deputies say the victim knew the suspect before the incident. East Manatee County is one step closer to opening a new high school. The school district is breaking ground for the North River High School this morning. The 98-acre site is located at the southeast corner of Martha and Erie Roads in Parrish. The high school will relieve overcrowding at Lakewood Ranch, Palmetto, and Bradenton River High Schools. The project is expected to cost $90 million and is funded by the county's half-cent sales tax. It is scheduled to open in August of 2019. Democrats in the state Senate have picked a new leader for Jeff Clemens, who was forced to resign because of an extramarital affair. Clemens resigned from his Senate seat after news of his relationship with a lobbyist. Audrey Gibson of Jacksonville will take over as Senate Minority Leader in the chamber, where Republicans now hold a 24-15 majority.
The next task is to see where there are opportunities to elect more Democrats so that we do get closer and closer to the 20, because in that you find balance and you truly have the voice of all Floridians.
Governor Rick Scott has set an April general election to replace Clemens. A measure doubling the money Governor Rick Scott wants to spend on the state's most prominent land preservation program has been approved. The Environmental Preservation and Conservation Committee is designating $100 million a year for the Florida Forever program. Voters passed a constitutional amendment calling for a portion of the real estate tax to be spent on land and water conservation. Since 2001, Florida Forever has purchased more than 718,000 acres for $2.9 billion. Now let's head over to ABC7's chief meteorologist Bob Harrigan with a look at the first alert forecast. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. And out on the water today, it was absolutely gorgeous out there. 74 degrees right now. It's cooled a little bit, but we had highs today into the mid-80s inland, low 80s near the beaches, and the humidity at 73%. We have a north-northwest wind now at 8 miles an hour. The pressure 30.01 inches. Winds are coming down a little bit out in the water. You can see a little heavier wind there, a northwest at 12 at Anna Maria, Longboat Key at 10. Lesser amounts as you push inland. Bee Ridge now at 7 miles an hour, and Bradenton at 6 out of the northwest. Similar conditions down south into Venice and Manasota Beach, as well as Inglewood. Northport, you're at 6 miles an hour out of the northwest. Those winds will start to calm down a little bit even as we get close to midnight, which will allow the clear skies and light winds to form some fog, and it will be patchy. Temperatures now into the mid-70s along the coast, 75 now in Venice, 74 in Inglewood, 73 in Arcadia, and temperatures today were around 85 to 86 degrees in Wauchula, Arcadia, Hardy County, and into DeSoto counties, all into the mid-80s there. The evening planner looks good. We'll see fair skies up until 11 o'clock and temperature right around 68 degrees at 11 o'clock. Here's a review of what it was like out there on the waters. We had a chance to be out there. You enjoyed it. I hope we had plenty of clear skies, a beautiful, gorgeous sunset tonight. And we are looking at similar conditions again tomorrow. No big changes as high pressure continues to dominate the weather over most of the southeast United States. And there's a weak frontal boundary to the north of us right now, producing some showers there, but not a lot going on here. You can see that activity, a few showers there into Alabama, northern sections of Mississippi, all the way over just south of Atlanta and into South Carolina there, but not a lot going on here along the west coast of Florida. So looking good again.
Just a few short weeks ago when that map was filled with green.
I know, lots of rain. It's a big change, change over from our afternoon thunderstorm pattern now to one of the driest months of the season.
All right, thanks a lot, Bob. And still to come, there is a hotline for veterans to call in to voice their concerns about the VA, but how long does it take to remain on hold? To get through, to stay with us.
Once you get atrial fibrillation, you need to have a very close relationship with your primary doctor. Prevention is the whole ball game here, because once you have a stroke, you can't undo it. A year without stroke is a year that you can enjoy doing the things that you've worked all your life to finally get to do. You took care of yourself. You did what is necessary for you to be around one more year. And then next year, we'll celebrate one more year without a stroke.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-628-1251, 800-628-1251.
It's the holiday sales event here at Alex Karras Lincoln. Drive a brand new 2017 Lincoln MKX Sport Utility for $349 per month, or Lincoln's flagship, the 2017 Continental, for $449 per month. We have a great selection of certified pre-owned Lincolns. These vehicles have warranties up to 100,000 miles and come with complimentary roadside assistance. Alex Karras Lincoln, affordable luxury. Winner of the prestigious 2015 President's Award, serving Florida's Sun Coast since 1978. We are located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
Download the all-new ABC7 First Alert weather app now.
It was set up with the best of intentions, but who do you call to complain about the new White House Veterans Complaint Line? As Adam Cellini reports, the effort to help vets is actually frustrating them even more.
Alan, we honor our veterans who return home from service, oftentimes with monuments like this one at the Fogartyville Cemetery in Bradenton. But unfortunately, many of them feel dishonored because when they return to this country, they have to fight for their own benefits. Well, President Trump tried to fix this by starting a hotline straight to the White House to voice any complaints. And that hotline went active 5 months ago.
My name is Ronald Babcock.
Ronald Babcock just had his 11th surgery in 10 years for bladder cancer. Every day he wonders when another stage 4 tumor could appear like it did back in 2002.
And attach itself perhaps this time to my liver or to my lungs or who knows where, and I'm a goner.
His health problems are like many who served in Vietnam and came into contact with Agent Orange, an herbicide troops sprayed throughout the jungle to draw out the enemy. But the Department of Veteran Affairs won't cover Babcock's ailments like the other troops because he was never in Vietnam. He was on a ship off the country's coast, part of a group we now refer to as Blue Water Veterans.
If the jets that my crew and I climbed all over to load bombs, missiles, and ammo flew through the Agent Orange defoliant, wouldn't it make sense that they brought it back to our carrier?
Today he continues to wage two wars, one against cancer and one against the VA, on behalf of the 90,000 Blue Water veterans denied health coverage under this one rule.
It's a money issue. Some senator or congressperson will say, well, we can't afford this. We have to cut back. We have to do this. We have to do that.
The VA's prolonged approach to care for its millions of clients was an easy target for Donald Trump on the campaign trail. And in June, he delivered on a promise to open a line straight to the White House where veterans could report VA issues and receive a response.
When it came out, I said, okay, well, if veterans are able to communicate a true concern, it's going to be worthwhile to have this program in place.
Lee Washington advocates for local veterans with VA problems. According to a VA spokesperson, more than 8,000 calls were answered in the hotline's first 7 weeks. But there were issues, mainly the calls that weren't being answered, like Babcock's first few attempts. VA Secretary David Shulkin says the hotline wasn't yet staffed for its goal of 24/7 service. Washington, however, wonders if it's all a front.
It's a Band-Aid at the end of the day. It's something, in my belief, that the public is able to see we're doing something for our veterans. But what are we really going to do with that data? Are you really going to put a process in place to help the VA work through these claims?
We listened in as Babcock tried the hotline another time, and lo and behold, a voice.
Thank you for calling the White House Veterans Helpline. Sheila speaking, may I help you?
Ron explained his situation, asking if his bladder cancer was on the list of Agent Orange-borne illnesses yet, or if he would be eligible for a reconstructed bladder through the VA Choice program. After 20 minutes, he was given another number to call.
I had a lot higher hopes, to be honest with you.
Would you recommend it to any of your friends, any of your veteran friends?
Not at this point, no.
So here Ronald Babcock sits, no closer to a solution and worrying instead of not having a voice, his voice is now falling on deaf ears. Now there have been some success stories with the hotline. There was a Vietnam veteran out in Texas who received 100% benefits for his cancer treatment related to Agent Orange after an executive order was signed on his behalf. However, that's just one executive order for the nearly 9 million people covered under VA benefits. In Bradenton, Adam Cellini, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
We have it covered from a veteran to those working nonstop to help vets. The trapezoid is next.
At Humana, we believe great things are ahead of you when you start with healthy. And part of staying healthy means choosing the right Medicare plan. Humana can help. With Original Medicare, you're covered for hospital stays and doctor office visits when you're sick, but keep in mind you'll have to pay a deductible for each. A Medicare supplement plan can cover your deductibles and coinsurance, but you may pay higher premiums than you do with other plans, and prescription drug coverage isn't included. But with an all-in-one Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you could get all that coverage plus Part D prescription drug benefits, all for an affordable monthly plan premium, and in some areas, no plan premium. It's all described in this free book and DVD. Call for yours and discover how an all-in-one Medicare Advantage plan from Humana could save you money. Call 1-855-395-9803. That's 1-855-395-9803 now.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on the pedal. You get a clean mop head that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
Welcome back. It was created to show vets that President Trump is serious about improving services at the Veterans Administration. For years, the VA has been knocked for being long wait times, the ever-increasing number of veterans leaving the military in August. The White House VA Veteran Complaint Line, the only problem, it appears that the complaint line needs a complaint line. Long wait times, the runaround. So what do vets do? Where do they go to get answers? They need more help and more information. Joining us for more is Lee Washington of the Manatee County Office of Veteran Services, Ron Babcock, a Vietnam veteran, and Jerry Zivick, our own consumer watchdog. And Ron, I'm going to start with you because because people are going to watch this and they're going to listen to you and their blood is going to boil, I guarantee it. You did get through after some 20 minutes, but did not get your questions answered.
Right.
Did the VA follow up?
Yes, they did. Yesterday, a supervisor called and introduced himself as an official with the White House VA hotline, and he wanted a little information regarding my experience with that call from last week.
All right, so let me see if I got this straight. Not in terms of information about your complaint.
No, he had. This was just to see how well they did. And he said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you think we did? And I said, well, I can't blame the agent. She didn't know where to go because the law was not accepted or changed. On a scale of 1 to 10, as you've asked, I guess I'd have to give you less than a 5 during that phone call.
And what did they say?
He said, oh, well, I'm going to write down a 9 anyway. Okay, do it your way.
This is the White House Veteran
VA hotline, yes.
That was supposed to be outreach to vets to show vets and the public that we're going to cut through everything and get you the help you need.
I think they meant well.
Lee, I mean, this is going to infuriate a lot of people who are watching this right now who, you know, there was a new day at the Veterans Administration. You have a new secretary, you have a new president who says that he has got the backs of vets, and then they hear this.
Well, the concern that you have is obviously you're stating that it's the White House hotline for VA concerns. So we really don't know who answered the phone, if they're actually VA employees or not. And my concern will always be that locally, veterans have a faster avenue to resolve their issues, and it would be calling that hotline. But obviously, I would be extremely concerned if you're calling a hotline and you're not getting the answers that you need, and it seems as though you're just doing the circle.
You said in Adam's story that your fear was this was a Band-Aid and that the answers that vets need are available through your office and other offices around here. Do you think that if this hotline is not living up to advertisement, that it's slowing down the process for our vets?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's slowing down. I think that, you know, the veterans will get caught up on the telephone hoping that someone on the other end is listening. But, you know, in our case here in Manatee County, Sarasota, and Pinellas, you have a direct access to the folks over at Bay Pines. They have quarterly roundtables and they have town hall meetings. You have offices like ours in Manatee County Veteran Services that can assist the veterans and give them the answers that they need.
Ron, Jerry, Ron's experience is not unique. I mean, I've seen stories around here that this is happening around the country, long wait times to just get through and no easy answers. Maybe there are some success stories out there, but too often there aren't.
Well, there should be no failures at all. And I have to agree with Lee. Why are they setting up this hotline? In theory, we have our elected representatives. They should be our hotline. If something's stuck, we should be able to write our congressperson or our senators and say, help me out here. I seem to be stuck in a snafu.
Veterans assistance in terms of congressional district offices has always been a staple of what a U.S. congressman should be doing.
Well, it's a staple, but what actually are they really doing? And who's really staffing those offices? Basically, Lee is competent above and beyond, but how many people share his competencies and his knowledge?
Right, we're going to talk more about that. We are just getting warmed up. We'll have much more on the new hotline for veterans right after we check the first alert weather, so stay with us.
Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Our accredited staff will handle all of the Medicare paperwork for free, and best of all, your brace is shipped directly to your home for free. Don't let chronic lower back pain slow you down. Get moving and stay active with a medical-grade back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost. We also accept Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, Aetna, Humana, and other insurance. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace covered by Medicare? Find out for free.
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-715-0835. That's 1-800-715-0835, 1-800-715-0835.
Mark Zupan, part of the U.S. Paralympic rugby team. In my game, movement is everything. I get frustrated when my move is blocked, especially when that guy has no right to be there, even just for a minute. I love a challenge, but I don't like to play this game every day.
A message from the United Spinal Association.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Letting my friends online know I was quitting kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
I kept on trying, learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
We did it. You can too.
For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
Our conversation on the new White House Veterans Complaint Hotline continues right after we get a check on the first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Another ho-hum beautiful day today, Alan, out there on the waters. Calm conditions, a lot of people taking advantage of it too. A little boating this afternoon. The winds picked up late, but generally seas running less than 2 feet, and gorgeous sunset tonight. Things a little earlier now as a result of the time change over the weekend. And great photos sent in of some folks fishing there on the Venice Jetty. Cindy Desmond getting this shot. And another one of the Crystal Classic taking place on a Siesta Key. All the artists are out there and sculptors, if you will. And you can see right on the left-hand side, there's an ABC7 little sand sculptor right there. We're proud sponsors of the event, which usually raises money for the Turtle Foundation of Moat Marine. Viewer photos of Siesta Key. Speaking of a treasure, there it is as the sun was just setting. Currently, we have clear skies at 74, the dew point 65, and the humidity at 73%. The temperatures will continue to fall down to around 70 degrees this evening, and then the fog forming in patchy areas Late tonight, tomorrow morning, could be rather thick in some patchy areas, as I said. A warm day today, 85 degrees. That's above the average of 81, not close to the record, though, of 90 set back in 1996. This morning's low, 3 degrees above average. No rainfall to report so far. A very dry month, and it's going to stay that way, too, through this week and into the weekend. Temperatures currently in the low to mid 70s across the area. Not much variation there. Waterleaf at 75, Parrish the same. Sarasota as well, and then 76 in Osprey, Siesta Key. You're at 75 degrees. 77 in Plantation, Northport at 78. Northport today reaching 86 degrees for a high. Well, lows tonight will be generally into the mid to upper 60s across the area. We are looking for highs on Wednesday to reach into the mid 80s again inland. This is at 5 p.m., so we will have gone by our high at this point, but we're looking for a high right around 84, 85 degrees here along the Sun Coast. And then looks like slightly cooler temperatures come later on this weekend and into early next week, but still pretty close to seasonal averages. We're not going to see a big change there and a big drop in temperatures like we saw a couple weeks ago. There is a front to the north. It is going to get close to us, but not have much chance of getting all the way through us on through Thursday and Friday. You can see that kind of falls apart. We may see a little increase in cloudiness as a result of that, but not much change in temperature. And this is the 17th named storm of the season. You can see most of the deep convection well north of the center, meaning there's quite a bit of shear here. The center of the tropical storm Rena is right there, moving off to the north, and then eventually off to the northeast and fading away in the open waters of the Atlantic because of the cold conditions up there. Well, the national satellite and radar imagery not showing a whole lot going on. Cold air still kind of bottled up over the northern plains and all the way down into parts of Oklahoma and Texas. 42 now in Kansas City, 39 Chicago. Cleveland at 45 degrees, and even the nation's capital, some of that colder air has invaded there. 44 degrees, though, Atlanta at 72, and New Orleans now at 77 degrees. For boaters tomorrow, looks to be pretty good out there. A light chop on the bays and inland water. Seas running less than 2 feet. Winds will be out of the northeast, turning around to the north late in the day at around 10 knots. And the water temperature is 75 degrees. UV index will be high at an 11. Tides upcoming for Sarasota Bay. Low tide at 8:54 tonight, and then another low tide at 11:12 tomorrow morning. Some patchy fog, mostly fair, 66 for your low tonight, and then, well, not everyone's going to see the fog, but it'll be around tomorrow, burn off, mostly sunny. Another warm day, average temperature around 83 degrees if you factor in the upper 70s to low 80s again, and then you'll see temperatures staying pretty close to seasonal average, a little cooler on Sunday. We'll take what we can get, and then 60 for a low on Tuesday. Ellen?
Bob, we have some breaking election news here. Of course, there are some races in both Manatee and Sarasota counties. We can tell you about the city of Bradenton Beach mayor's race. As you can see on your screen, it looks like Mayor Chappie, John Chappie, is going to remain mayor of Bradenton Beach, beating his former and his present opponent, William Bear Sharon, by a percentage of about 59.95 to 40.05. Of course, we will have more details on election results coming up in a few minutes. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Joan London with A Place for Mom. Over the years, we've helped thousands of families find senior care, and today's senior living communities have never been better, with amazing amenities like movie theaters, exercise rooms and swimming pools, public cafes, bars and bistros, even pet care services. And nobody understands your options like the advisors at A Place for Mom. These are local expert advisors that will partner with you to find the perfect place and determine the right level of care, whether that's just a helping hand or full-time memory care. Best of all, it's a free service. Call today. A Place for Mom. You know your family, we know senior living. Together, we'll make the right choice.
Call A Place for Mom right now to get our free ebook on financing senior care, as well as a free referral for senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-290-0352. That's 1-800-290-0352.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order.
I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-738-9812. 800-738-9812.
It's been about a month, and I can honestly say I've seen the change in me. I went from being a depressed girl who didn't want help to this happy, caring girl who loves helping other people. I just really hope that people that went through what I went through get the help that they need, because their story is important and they are loved. Thank you so much for everything.
We want to go back to election results for a second in the Bradenton Beach mayor's race. We wanted to tell you that John Chappie is replacing Mayor Bill Sharon as the mayor of Bradenton Beach. John Chappie winning 59.95% of the vote to Mayor Sharon's 40.05% of the vote. And of course, we'll have updated election results throughout this broadcast. Now back to the new White House Veterans Complaint Line, which isn't working that well so far, and whether vets can turn to their for their questions. Joining us for more is Lee Washington of Manatee County Office of Veteran Services, Ron Babcock, a Vietnam veteran, and Jerry Zivick, our consumer watchdog. Gentlemen, let's try to talk about where we are in terms of the creation of this hotline, which was created by the president. In fact, one story that we have here says that President Trump told attendees of the Veterans of Foreign Wars Convention that he would create a private White House hotline for veterans, and he might also stay up late at night taking calls instead of tweeting. I haven't heard any evidence that he is taking these calls. But Lee, let me ask you, what is the danger of promising something like this to veterans who have some very serious questions and not delivering?
Well, I think the biggest harm that you're going to have is damaging the VA's reputation further than what it already is. Because at the end of the day, if you come out with a hotline for complaints, that's exactly what it's going to turn into, complaints. Where can a veteran actually go, lowest level, to get their problem resolved? And I always believe that's in the community. To have them call an 800 number that goes who knows where, and they still don't end up with an answer, that's a problem. And I don't think that we really should have that call line.
So I have a question. So the VA's experienced so much negative publicity in the last few years. Do you think it's actually possible to rehabilitate the VA's reputation?
Well, I think overall the VA does a great job. I mean, their delivery of service in some areas needs to be tweaked a bit, but we're talking about the White House complaint line about the VA. So I don't really believe that that's a line that's being staffed by VA employees, maybe some veterans, but I think there are individuals that are receiving calls from veterans who are concerned, family members and whatnot, but it's really not making any difference.
One of the many questions is whether this hotline was planned out carefully, and the staffing and the flow of information, was that planned out to actually deliver on what the advertising was?
Well, initially it was a pilot, and veterans made their voice heard. They wanted to have more veterans on the other side of that telephone. So it took a couple of months to get that in place, but we still don't know what the staffing percentages are with veterans answering those phone calls.
Right. Let's get to, Ron, what your underlying question is. What is the question you want answered?
The reason I called the VA White House hotline was to find out whether or not the VA secretary, after 18 months of serious consideration and thought processes with himself and his staff, was going to say yes and accept the Blue Water Vietnam Navy veterans.
And let's refresh everybody's memory. Blue Water veterans like yourself are service members, mostly Navy, who served on ships off of the Vietnamese coast.
Right.
And you claim you were exposed to Agent Orange by servicing fighter jets and other aircraft, and other veterans like yourself are suffering from cancer. And you want service connection, which for all these years and decades you have not gotten.
Yes. Many of us, including myself, have the same illnesses and diseases that the veterans that set foot on the ground have. that are receiving full benefits.
The exact
and we're not. The exact same diseases.
Jerry, Congress, the Veterans Affairs Committee was supposed to take up this very issue. What happened?
It's stalled in committee for the same reason it's been stalling all of these years. It's money. They have no money to fund taking care of these 90+ thousand. They're talking about $1 billion. In my thinking, it's actually closer to $5 billion. But as we were talking about, you're talking about a $5 trillion tax cut, and we don't have money for these veterans.
So let me get this straight. We're talking about anywhere from $1.5 to $5 billion to service our veterans who are in Vietnam. They're being told that there is no money, but we're talking about a $1 trillion tax cut.
That's correct. But I'm going to read between the lines. So Senator Rowe of Tennessee introduced legislation to reform the choice program. And basically, I believe that the VA, that Congress wants to privatize the VA. They want to take those buildings, that land, and they want to sell it. Well, if they're going to do that, then there's your money. You could at least dedicate it toward the Blue Water vets.
There's your money for the tax cut that they're talking about. I mean,
well, yeah, you're correct. Is it going to go toward vets? Probably not. But if they can't find the money and they keep cutting back on VA services, you can see where this is headed.
Ron, do you think that there's sometimes a difference between what members of Congress and the Senate and whoever is president say about their dedication to getting veterans what they need and deserve, and what they actually do in terms of their priorities once they get there?
No, I have thoughts. From my point of view, the politicians, when they're running for office, they go, rah, 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 we're going to take care of our veterans. And many of them, once they reach that high office in Congress or state, I've got my own personal agenda to take care of phooey on them veterans. I'll listen to them, but not much is going to happen.
Lee, let me ask you this. You know, while this debate with Ron and members of Congress takes place over and over again, your job is to actually help vets get what they need and what they deserve. But how hamstrung are you in terms of vets like Ron, who may be Blue Water vets, in terms of the law right now does not provide for service connection for Ron's cancer and assistance?
Well, I think one of the biggest things that we attempt to do in my office and in similar offices around the state is to take a look at the veteran's entire life. Can we at least get them health care to address some of their underlying conditions? But also, when you talk about Blue Water veterans, we're going to advocate for him every single day. I am very sympathetic to Ron's case. I think it's just shameful how they're being treated. But the services that you have locally that will help him, his family, and others like him are in place here in Manatee County and Sarasota because of the health care that's provided by the VA.
I mean, what do you mean? I would imagine if you're dealing with cancer and cancer treatment, it's very expensive and very extensive. Can you provide locally what the VA would provide in terms of this kind of treatment?
I would think the services are locally, but there's also going to fall on the veteran to determine what kind of insurance to cover that gap. And that's what we're truly missing. I believe, as well as Ron, we've had conversations about this before, a lot of the Vietnam veterans truly just want to be heard and put on record what happened to them. Yeah. That's what they really want, and it's shameful that they can't do that.
Ron, if there's one thing that you could say, you know, we have two members of Congress representing the Suncoast, Tom Rooney and Vern Buchanan.
Yes.
What are they not doing enough of?
Yeah, I don't think I have the full answer. I can tell you that for the last 3 or 4 years, bills have been introduced in both houses of Congress to vote and get the benefits for the Blue Water vets. The bills in all these different years are going absolutely nowhere. And as I said before, the politicians campaign for office saying they're going to take care of us veterans that have, you know, illnesses, came back from the war zone with a problem or two. And once they get into office,
All right, we are going to pick up our conversation in a moment. A quick break. Final thoughts when we return.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetzy. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. you may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
What if you had a medical emergency away from home?
My chest hurts. I can't breathe.
What you need is Mobile Help, America's premier mobile medical alert system. Most systems only work at home, but with Mobile Help, you get help outside the home with coverage nationwide on one of the largest cellular networks at the press of a button. Call the number on your screen for a free full-color brochure. We'll send you everything you need, including this base station, the patented mobile device, and the waterproof pendant and wrist button. You can also add the fall button that automatically detects falls and signals help. Call today and receive a risk-free 30-day trial. There is no equipment to buy and no long-term contract. For a limited time, you will also receive a free emergency key box with your plan purchase. Remember, Mobile Help keeps you safe coast to coast.
Call 1-800-916-8638. That's 1-800-916-8638.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
Update you, it's election night on the Suncoast, and we have 2 council member seats that are up for grabs in the city of Venice, and let's go to the results right now. For seat number 1, we have Mitzi Fiedler beating Emilio Calissimo by a percentage of 59.46 to 40.54, and that is with 100% of the precincts reporting. For council seat number 2, we have Charles Newsom defeating Deborah Anderson by 55.96% to 44.04%. And you might recall that the biggest issues taking place right now in Venice is the pace of development in that city. And depending on who wins, will be 2 votes on the city council in terms of future development in the city of Venice. Okay, it's time for final thoughts with our guests here. We're talking about the veterans complaint line that was supposed to go to the White House and Blue Water Vets. And Jerry, your point is that we don't have a whole lot of time to debate this subject.
No, we're in a race against time. There are 500 veterans dying a day. So basically, the VA is playing with house money. The longer they wait, the less they have to pay out. It's more than shameful. Everybody should be outraged.
We've been following your story for 2 years now,
I know.
Ron, and not much has changed.
Nope.
How frustrated are you?
Very frustrated. I was so depressed the other day to receive the bad news from the VA that they wouldn't accept the Blue Water veterans, as talk was that they would, but they didn't because of what Jerry has indicated, money.
Lee, how many Blue Water vets are in our area? How often do you hear the story?
You have at least once a week. There's a veteran that served the board ship, even in the Air Force, that can't document actually setting foot in Vietnam. But I just want to touch base on something you asked me earlier in the last segment. You know, for those veterans that may not be in the VA healthcare system, there are ways that they can get in, catastrophically ill or hardship. So that care for that particular cancer that's not currently covered under Agent Orange, they can still be treated in the VA. But here's one thing we got to remember. Over the last 4 years or so, the VA has had 3 secretaries. So it's extremely hard for anyone to get true traction and put any plans in place to fix the true problems. I would say, I would always wager on our local folks in the Bay Pines healthcare system and just those advocates within the state of Florida.
All right, we have to leave it there. But before we go, we want to share with you what some of you had to say about last night's show on the Boy Scouts allowing girls to join. According to a poll by NBC News and the Wall Street Journal, 57% of Americans oppose the new rules. Only 37% of women support the Boy Scouts admitting girls, while 35% of men supported. Only 2.3 million boys were in the Scouts last year. Now, that is down from 6.5 million in 1972. Brian says numbers are down from 1972. I would guess that is because kids have a lot more options than they did in 1972. Christine says, I think it is a bad idea. Both genders need a place that they can go and feel comfortable among their peers, a place where they can be themselves. Susan says this is not an equality thing. Boys need to spend time with boys and girls need to spend time with girls. They may all choose to do the same thing, but they need to not to do it together. Well, if you'd like to join the conversation about tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/mysoncoast.com.abc7. And FYI, you can watch past discussions on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. And here's a reminder, for updates on national and local breaking news, you can download the latest updated version of our app. Android users will get that update automatically, but iPhone users will need to go to the App Store and re-download the app. Just search for WWSB or My Suncoast. We want to thank all our guests for being here tonight. Lee Washington of the Manatee County Office of Veteran Services, Ron Babcock, a Vietnam veteran, and Jerry Zivick, our consumer watchdog. And when we return, don't get scammed on student loan debt, plus more information on the man who shot and killed over 24 people in Texas at a church. Stay with us.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some important news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from television host and three-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we are about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-307-2040 now, and you'll receive a free copy of Josh Melberg's book, Next Gen Annuity Strategies Revealed. As a bonus, we'll also send you the #1 mistakes retirees are making with their investments today, and a free DVD on how you can get up to 33% more income in retirement. Call 800-307-2040 to have your free information kit rushed to your door. Again, that's 800-307-2040.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big, or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $15 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand with no surprises and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular has received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service 3 times in a row. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Call 800-457-2317. Go online or visit a Target store today.
Welcome back. Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but first, Americans are more burdened by student loan debt now than ever before. Americans owe over $1.5 trillion in student loan debt. Students looking to get out of debt need to be wary of scams. And here to talk about more is ABC7 consumer watchdog Jerry Zivick. Weren't you just here?
Yes, I was. I'm moving in.
Jerry, these scams are out there. I mean, the problem overall is so difficult, and there are companies out there who are saying that we could help you with this. What do people need to look out for?
Well, the FTC and local and state authorities have really decided to go after these companies. They have a catchy name, Operation Game of Loans, and they're going after companies that are advertising that they can reduce student debt, that you've pre-qualified and that you're immediately eligible, and all kinds of nice wordage like that. But what they're really doing is they're trying to get students to pay $1,500 upfront money. And once you pay that money, you're guaranteed that these companies will do almost nothing for you.
Well, two questions. You often hear that in terms of staying away from upfront fees, but I would imagine that there are so many people out there who are desperate to get out from underneath this that they might believe that if you're paying an upfront fee, that it guarantees you're going to get the service that you signed up for.
You would think that, but it's not the case. I mean, a reputable person can always wait to get paid. And you have letters or emails that come with government seals on them, and all the appearances and trapping that it's a government, that they're hooked up with the government, that they're part of the government. If you have a federal loan, there's almost nothing that these companies can do for you that you can't do for yourself. And if you have a private loan, you can negotiate as well as anybody else to do something. And there are some there are some programs there. You can there is a debt forgiveness program that actually Congress and the tax bill, as we were talking about earlier, wants to eliminate.
Right. And what about when these companies say that we could solve this problem and get you the results that you want quickly? Is there any such thing in terms of a private company moving along the process faster than you can do yourself?
Absolutely not. As I said before, you can just do this yourself, and you'll be money ahead.
And the other thing is, it's very hard these days to know what is legit and what's not legit. A lot of these companies market themselves with the Department of Treasury seal on it, and it's easy to believe that they have that connection you were talking about.
Yeah, just with everything, we've been talking about this for a long time. You have to beware. If it's too shiny, too bright, there's something wrong with it. And before I forget, don't ever give anybody your federal student loan ID number. If you give that away, you're giving away the store.
That was my next question, because I have 2 kids in college. We have those IDs. If you lose it, you're in trouble. But if you get it or somebody else gets your ID, that could be a whole lot of problems.
Yeah, you have to. It's just like you don't give away your birthday and your social security number to a scammer either. You have to pay attention to what you're doing at all times. You shouldn't multitask. You just have to stay focused and just assume anybody that's calling you and offering you something is not honest.
All right, Jerry, thank you. Jerry joins us every other Tuesday in your For Your Benefit segment. Stay tuned. Our primetime headlines are next.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to mesobook.com.
This is an important medical announcement. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to uncontrollable bleeding and even death. If you've been prescribed one of these drugs and have experienced these dangerous side effects, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Studies show that Pradaxa can cause more heart attacks than warfarin, and other countries have already issued safety warnings against this drug. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. The call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to Pradaxa victims, and thousands of Xarelto victims are filing their legal cases. Call the Drug Watch hotline. If you or a loved one used Xarelto or Pradaxa and experienced uncontrollable bleeding, brain hemorrhage, or even death, you must call now.
Call 800-793-6055. 800-793-6055.
You studied hard, went to college, and achieved your dream, but it turned into a financial nightmare. If you have federal student loans and you'd like to reduce your payments, get more time, or have your loans completely eliminated, then we have good news. With one call to Student Loan Relief Services, you can find support and guidance. We've already helped thousands of people, and we can help you too. If you have $10,000 or more in federal student loans, you can qualify for payment extensions, payment reductions, or you may qualify to have your federal student loans loan completely forgiven. Call Student Loan Relief Services now to find out about your options. Take control of your finances and get out from under this burden. One of our student loan experts has the answers to your questions and great solutions to ease your financial burden. We're here for you. Call Student Loan Relief Services now.
Call 800-759-0203, 800-759-0203.
Checking primetime headlines, more on the deadliest mass shooting in Texas history. There are questions tonight about how 26-year-old Devin Kelly was able to legally buy his weapons despite a history of domestic violence. The shooter opened fire during a church service on Sunday in Sutherland Springs, killing 26 and wounding 20 others. ABC's Maggie Rulli is in on the scene with more.
Today, questions remain as to how Devin Kelly, the gunman in the Texas church massacre, was able to legally buy a gun despite his past criminal convictions of extremely violent domestic abuse against his wife and her infant child, a charge that led to a court-martial for the Air Force veteran.
There was nothing in our databases that precluded him from purchasing a firearm.
The Air Force now admitting they never forwarded the information about his conviction to the FBI database. And we're now learning that in 2012, Kelly escaped from a behavior center and tried to carry out death threats against his military chain of command.
We got all these questions with the Air Force right now, which is how did this get slipped through the cracks?
But many argue the political conversation around Sunday's mass shooting should not focus on the Air Force, but rather on gun control.
We need common sense gun reform.
When asked about extreme vetting on gun purchases during his trip to South Korea, President Trump says gun control might have kept the hero from shooting the gunman.
If he didn't have a gun, instead of having 26 dead, he would have had hundreds more dead.
As politicians argue, this small town is left reeling from an unfathomable loss. That brave man who stepped in, he says he only wishes he could have saved more lives.
I'm no hero. I am not. And I just wish I could have gotten there faster.
And for the survivors, they say the memories from inside that church will haunt them forever.
People screaming and people crying and "Mama, where are you, Mama?" The little kids.
The shooter's cell phone's currently with the FBI. Agents say it's heavily encrypted and it could take them weeks to break in. But right now they do believe that the shooter acted alone. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, Sutherland Springs, Texas.
A major Texas grocery chain is launching a campaign to help families affected by the Sutherland Springs shooting. H-E-B and Central Market stores will give customers the opportunity to make donations during checkout. The company says it will work directly with the First Baptist Church to help those affected by the shooting. H-E-B is also donating $150,000 to the victims and their families. Massive lines in South Florida today as disaster food assistance cards following Hurricane Irma are handed out. The storm ravaged Florida back in September, but many residents still need help. The D-SNAP program provides assistance to people who suffered a disaster-related loss but don't otherwise qualify for food stamps. The cards are essentially debit cards that can be used for groceries. And finally, one of the men who circled the moon has died. Dick Gordon died at his home in San Diego on Monday. Gordon was the command module pilot for Apollo 12, the second lunar landing mission. The retired Navy captain spent more than 316 hours in space during 2 space missions. After retiring from the space agency, Gordon served as executive vice president of the New Orleans Saints. Dick Gordon was 88 years old. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohen. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.